All right, what's up, everybody? So look, man, let's get right into it, right? Because there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of talks about all this shit that's going down, bro, and we're gonna get into all of this, right? So look, the WBC gives Dimitri Bivol an ultimatum: negotiate fight with David Benavidez or be stripped of the belt. That's right, you read that right. The WBC is already putting all the pressure on Dimitri Bivol to defend his championship against David Benavidez in his next fight. This raises a lot of questions, as one would think he should be making a trilogy with Artur Beterbiev, but it seems that the boxing organization has other plans. The WBC has already set a date for Bivol to negotiate a fight with Benavidez, which would be April 8th of this year. So yeah, they're trying to get this thing done, but at the same time, bro, there's, like I said, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of talks about this shit. There's a lot of people that think that this fight might not happen next, right? That Bivol is actually interested in doing the trilogy with Beterbiev, and that's first, But now with this, it kind of does put some pressure on Bivol to maybe take a fight with Benavidez before he does that trilogy with Beterbiev, And I think this would make more sense, bro, because just stop and think about this shit, bro. What's a bigger fight, man? Bivol and Beterbiev, the trilogy? Next, bro? Like, I think we've all already kind of gotten enough of that for now, man. Like, I would love to see a trilogy, of course, because the fights were super close. I would love to see Beterbiev get his get back. But at the same time, bro, I just think making these three fights back to back to back like that, I don't know, bro. I think they should kind of give it a little bit of a rest and throw something like this in the mix, right? Benavidez versus Bivol. That's a bigger fight, of course, than Bivol and Beterbiev, man. I think it would do crazy ass numbers, bro. This is literally the fight that everybody wants to see in the boxing world. Everybody wanted Benavidez versus Canelo. Of course, that fight did not happen. Canelo ducked that fight in the craziest duck move in the history of boxing. But we all know that Bivol beat the brace off of Canelo, man. So this fight between Bivol and Benavidez, bro, it's been getting amped up, you know what I'm saying? It's been getting talked about, and this is the fight that everybody wants to see. I actually think that people wanted to see this more than Benavidez versus Beterbiev, as like for the same reasons that I say, Bivol is known as this Mexican killer, right? He took out El Zurdo, he took out Canelo, the Mexican's champ, right? And who's left out there now is Benavidez, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people out here that think that Bivol will completely run through Benavidez. I think there's more people that think that Bivol beats Benavidez than there is that Benavidez will actually beat Bivol. And I don't blame you guys, right? These fights are super close. Bivol has got one hell of a resume. There's nothing, you can't take nothing away from Bivol. So I at all do not blame anybody that's out here saying that Bivol is going to beat Benavidez, Of course, none of us know what's really going to happen. We could all pretty much just sit back and give our opinions at this point. Me personally, bro, there's a lot of things that I tell you guys, bro. There's a lot of things that I saw in that last Bivol and Beterbiev fight that led me to go more in the direction that Benavidez could take out Bivol. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's going to do it, bro, but I'm saying if that fight were to happen, right, and you tell me to make a pick, I'm going to pick Benavidez right now, man. Benavidez showed me a lot in his last fight with Morrell. Morrell, he's a hell of a fighter, bro, hell of a threat. And it showed, he gave Benavidez a pretty good fight and shit. And see, this is just what a lot of people seem to miss in the boxing scene, right? Like, look, this is a perfect example, right? When Tank, he just fought Roach, and the whole boxing world was saying, nah, Roach ain't it, right? Roach ain't gonna... Roach is no match for Tank and this and that. I'm not even gonna lie, bro, myself included. I didn't know too much about Roach, but as he was coming up from a smaller weight division, I thought he was gonna be smaller than Tank. And then come fight night, we actually saw that he was bigger than Tank. He was a little bit bigger than Tank, but they were pretty much right there even. And what was Tank telling you guys the whole time? He was like, hey man, I'm making a good fight with Roach. Roach, he's a hell of a fighter, What I'm trying to say with that is this, bro, that these fighters, they know who the real threats are, bro. Like, more than all of us fans, these guys are the ones that they know, like, hey, man, this guy, he's special, right? He might give me a little bit of problems. They see certain shit in other fighters that us as boxing fans might miss, you know what I'm saying? So I say that to say this, right? when you got somebody like David Morrell, and I told you guys this also, right? He was at 168 also. Canelo was ducking him as well. And I told you guys, did you guys ever realize that Canelo never, ever mentioned David Morrell, right? Why is that? If David Morrell, like a lot of people say, like, oh, no, he ain't shit, this and that, because of course you always get this shit, right? At first, he was a monster. He was going to be David Benavidez. But when David Benavidez took him out, you got back to people saying, like, oh, you know, he only had so many fights. You know, he's unexperienced. He ain't shit. But, you know, like I said, bro, why is it that Canelo never mentioned somebody like Morrell when it came to him making all these fights, right? Do you guys notice that Canelo was looking at the bottom of the food chain when it came to him making his picks? He was looking for the Charlos, the Berlangas of the world, the Jaime Munguias, the average, right? He was going for the average fighters. Now, if Morrell really was one of these average fighters, don't you guys think that Canelo would have been looking at him also as he was looking at these other names, you know? And why didn't he, bro? Why didn't he throw him in the mix with the Charlos, the Berlangas, the Jaime Munguias of the world? That is because Canelo could see, and not just Canelo, bro. A lot of people could see in Morrell what maybe a lot of fans don't see, right? That he is something different, right? That Canelo was probably looking at Morrell like, man, this guy, he'll give me a run for my money, bro. I'm gonna stay away from this guy as well. And this is the reason why he didn't mention him, right? So yes, man, I truly believe that Morrell is a way better fighter, bro, than what a lot of people are giving him credit for. You know, just because Benavidez took him out, that doesn't really take nothing away from him, bro. Because I'll be real with y'all, man. You guys know how I feel about this shit. 168, who was the real champion there? Who was the best fighter there? It's David Benavidez, man, hands down, bro. Fuck all this Canelo talk. Yes, Canelo holds all the belts, but let's just be real about it, bro. David Benavidez would have probably took out Canelo and took all the belts from him if he were to have had his chance, you know? So with that being said, man, and I told you guys this also, bro, I truly believe that Morrell beats Canelo as well, man. I think at 168, it's David Benavidez, Morrell, and then Canelo somewhere around there, right? But, you know, now that they moved up to 175, you know, they got one hell of a fight in. As you saw that Morrell, he did give a good fight to Benavidez and shit, right? And he did this, why? He brought out the best in David Benavidez. He made Benavidez for the first time, one of the first times in David Benavidez's career, make him work, right? Make him really have to work. And you know, even cracked his ass a couple of times, rocked him. We never saw this side of Benavidez, bro. We didn't really even know if he had a chin like that. But now that we saw him take Morrell's best punches, bro, and keep fighting through that shit and keep coming forward, man, this just brought a whole new level of confidence from me with David Benavidez, bro. And now, you know, him having fought Vosdik at 175. Vosdik, way bigger than Beterbiev and Bivol. You know, thicker, bigger, taller, all of that shit, right? Benavidez went up there and he ran through Vosdik with no problem. Then he took on Morrell at 175. You know, a huge puncher. Took on his best shots with no problem. Got him out the way with no problem. You know what I'm saying? And the way I just see Beterbiev and Bivol's last fight, bro, where I told you guys, you know, for me, there was a lack of punch selection, bro. A lack of creativity. A lack of combinations offensively from these fighters, bro. Especially Beterbiev towards Bivol. You know, and I know that Beterbiev relies on his strength, right? But his strength, his power wasn't enough to get Bivol out of there or to win that last fight against Bivol. So with Bivol having to rely on his power, bro, it kind of seems like he didn't bring nothing extra to the table, right? And when it comes to David Benavidez, bro, I think David Benavidez' speed is what's going to give Bivol, you know, problems and shit, right? A lot of people are saying like, oh no, Bivol has great footwork. He's going to move around all night and this and that, right? But the fact, I'm not out here saying that David Benavidez has great footwork and he's going to be able to keep up with Bivol. But what I'm trying to say is that David Benavidez' pressure and his size, bro, he cuts the distance really, really quick. He doesn't have to have the best footwork to cut the distance, man. His pressure style of fighting, he's just able to do this shit, bro. And yes, I do think that David Benavidez' pressure is going to be more than Beterbiev's pressure towards Bivol, man, because David Benavidez is gonna come with that pressure, with that high guard, bro. More squared off to Bivol and shit. David Benavidez, I always tell you guys, this guy has 2 jabs. You know what I'm saying? He throws his jab and then he throws the right hand almost as a jab, bro, because he's kind of really squared off and shit, right? And then his mix of combinations, the speed, bro, the speed that he's gonna be throwing these combinations, getting all this shit off with, and his jab, bro, his jab. I think all of this shit, this combination of everything that Benavidez brings to the table, it could give Bivol problems, man. So I already broke this fight down again. I wasn't really even trying to do that shit in this video, man. But you know, these are just things that I'm seeing with this fight, bro. You know, and just things that maybe you guys should keep an eye out for, bro. Because styles do make fights, bro. And I think David Benavidez' style, it is enough to give Bivol problems. And then not to mention the fact that these guys have sparred in the past, so they know each other. And then David Benavidez is on record saying that he got the best of Bivol. And actually, there was a guy that came out here on I think it was Joe Rogan's podcast, right? And he had said something like, "Oh no, I saw Bivol drop Benavidez with a jab." You know what I'm saying? And then you got a lot of people saying like, "Oh, you see, David Benavidez was lying. It was actually Bivol that dropped him and got the best of him." And then that guy came out later on and said, "Oh no, I messed up, bro. I mixed them up. It wasn't Bivol that dropped Benavidez. It was Benavidez that dropped Bivol." And he said it was the hardest punch he had ever seen in boxing. And a lot of people were giving him a lot of shit because they were saying, how is a jab the strongest punch that you've ever seen in boxing? So, you know, I know it's sparring and shit, but you got to take it into consideration, the fact that they've sparred and they know each other, and David Benavidez knows what kind of power, what size Bivol is at. You know, he knows a lot of shit about Bivol because they have history there. So, you know, don't get me wrong, these are probably from the time that they sparred, they're 2 completely different fighters, bro. I believe Bivol has, you know, gotten way, way better, bro, as he's taken on some real fighters, you know. He just took on Benavidez and beat him. But at the same time, so has Benavidez, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you guys think about Morrell, David Benavidez took out Morrell, man. And I do see Morrell as a top fighter, man. Actually, I want to see Morrell get back to fighting, bro. And I do not think that Morrell is going to lose anytime soon when he comes back, bro. I don't see nobody out there that could give Morrell problems until he starts getting up here with these type of names. Bivol, Beterbiev, and Benavidez again, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, you know, let's see what's going to happen with this shit, bro. Me personally, all we could do is wait, bro. We got to wait to see what Bivol is going to decide to do, bro. If he's going to try to give Benavidez some step-aside money, I don't know if Benavidez will accept it, you know what I'm saying? Or is he going to vacate his belt to try to make the trilogy with Beterbiev? I just don't know, right? But I don't think so, man. I don't think he would vacate his belt. I do believe that Bivol would give Benavidez his opportunity, bro. And, you know, as this fight is already mandated by the WBC, I think Bivol would go this route, man. And I think we could be seeing this fight here shortly. Not shortly, you know, but next. Even though a lot of people are out here saying that, no, it's not going to happen. It's crazy as fuck, bro. I was watching the Boxing Voice this morning, and this guy was giving Benavidez all types of shit, talking about, oh, you made the wrong move. You made the wrong move by moving up and this and that. And pretty much kind of hating on Benavidez, bro. And it's kind of crazy to me because I don't get, like, you know me, bro. I don't get this shit. I don't get where all this hate from Benavidez comes from. I mean, I do get it, but at the end of the day, it's just some unfair shit. It's like that female that I had told y'all about in that podcast and shit, where she was talking about like, oh, I can't root for Benavidez because I got so much love for Canelo and he's my hero and shit. You know, them typical female type of feelings. And this is pretty much every Canelo groupie in a nutshell, you know what I'm saying? Even the guys think like this female was thinking, you know, that's my hero. I can't root against him. Which is crazy as fuck. So, you know, it's unfortunate that David Benavidez came up in this Canelo era where it's just Canelo and this era fucked up a lot of things in boxing, right? Even to the fact that it's clear as day that people were even breaking rules for Canelo and shit, right? The WBC protecting him all these years. How is it that the WBC already did this shit with Bivol, but they could never do this shit with Canelo, you know what I'm saying? And even him on the Boxing Voice, he was talking about, oh, David Benavidez should have sued them and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But that guy failed to realize, bro, that David Benavidez can't sue. He can't sue them, bro, because look, I've seen the WBC rules and all that shit. And yeah, they got a lot of rules in place, and I had already told you guys this. They got a lot of rules in place, but all of the rules are followed by unless we make an exception, or unless the WBC makes special exceptions and shit, right? Pretty much saying that, yeah, we got rules in place, but we could break them if we want to, you know what I'm saying? And this is exactly what they did with Canelo. So at the end of the day, they're trying to like blame David Benavidez for that fight not happening, talking about that whole shit. Why didn't he enforce the mandatory and all that shit? But bro, you cannot make somebody fight with you if they do not want to take the fight. It doesn't matter if you mandate a fight. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters, bro. There's no way that this guy Benavidez could get Canelo in the ring with him when Canelo does not want to. You know what I'm saying? And I just do not see how in the fuck people are putting the blame on David Benavidez when it's clear as day that Canelo has even came out here and told you guys that he does not want to fight David Benavidez, man. And to all of you guys saying, oh yeah, he does, but he just needs 200 million to get it. I mean, to get the job, to get the fight done. I mean, come on, man, that's some bullshit, bro. 200 million. I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't get it, right? You guys can't use your logic and shit and realize that he outpriced himself, you know. But it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, whether David Benavidez made the wrong decision by moving up to 175, or we don't know yet, right? We don't know. Time will tell if he did or not, if he gets his fight. But at the end of the day, bro, somebody like David Benavidez, he's the underdog in this story, you know? He's the underdog in this story, bro. David Benavidez has to go through a lot more challenges to accomplish his goals and to get where he wants to be. And that's cool. It's going to make for a way better story at the end of the day. When all of this shit is said and done, his story is going to be that much greater because he had to go through all of this bullshit, right? People ducking him, you know, having to come up under the Canelo era with this fucking diva that pretty much is robbing him of him accomplishing his goals and shit. That doesn't even give him a damn fair opportunity, right? Which is some bullshit. And this is what a lot of people miss, that you got this fucking diva that just holding on to all the belts, and he's a fake champion, bro, at the end of the day. Canelo is the casuals champion, right? He's a fake ass champion, and he will be remembered as one of the fakest champions, as having a fucking, you know, his resume. A lot of people talk about his resume. When you really break down Canelo's resume, bro, it's full of a lot of bullshit, you know, a lot of rehydration clauses, a lot of picked fights at the right times and shit, you know, even with these Charlo fights. Canelo's talking about, oh, people want to see me against Charlo. No, we wanted to see you against the Charlos back then when it would have been a good fight. You bringing these guys out of retirement and shit and bringing them up a couple weight classes. Ain't nobody wanted to see that shit no more, you know. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, hopefully David Benavidez gets this fight next, man. And if he doesn't, he'll be all right, bro. He's still young as fuck. He's doing his thing in boxing. He's getting stronger with every fight. And when this shit is all said and done, bro, David Benavidez will be cemented as one of the greatest fighters in the history of boxing, bro. I truly believe this shit, man. So let me know what you guys think about all this shit, bro. Let me know if you guys think that Bivol versus Benavidez could happen next, or is David Benavidez going to have to wait, you know. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and that's it for me. You know, I'll be on to the next one, man. I'm out.